Hey guys, Angry Monkey here,
And Jackson Farrell from Hot Pile of Garbage.
and we're playing some more 999, and you saw the "You Found It" screen on there. So.
Yeah.
They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left like a great backward L. Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straight way. He ran, and ran, and ran, as fast as he can because he's the gingerbread man. At the end of the hallway was a door.
You can't catch him.
Until he hits a locked door, and then he's pretty much stuck there.
He made straight for it. He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor.
Right.
What was a piece of paper doing in the middle of the hallway? Junpei skidded to a halt. He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off the floor and tore it in half.
Whoops.
Now that he had a chance to examine it more closely, it was clear that it was a map. More specifically, a map of the ship's interior for the A deck.
What's wrong?
Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, basically calling him old, has finally caught up to Junpei.
You know, it's funny that they make all the old jokes about Lotus.
Yeah, when Ace is clearly older. Junpei said nothing, simply showed Ace what he had found. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was and nodded.
I see.
With that, he began running again past Junpei. Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace, but something stopped him.
Hey, where's Clover?
He turned around.
Clover seems to always go missing at this time, doesn't she?
Yeah, this is about Clover missing type time.
Yeah.
Freaking heck! What the crud is she up to?
Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters, her hand on the doorknob. As Junpei watched, she closed it gently and quietly.
What the junk are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing? Huh?
Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket as if to hide something.
What is that?
What?
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this? This is... I wonder.
What?
Come on, we gotta hurry! With that, Clover ran straight past the somewhat confused Junpei. As she did, he caught a glimpse of her back. Sticking out from her collar was something that looked like a big wooden stick.
Clover, you're lucky that I, unlike Ace, don't violate people's personal space and property in order to find out what I need to find out. Hey, Clover, what's that thing on your back?
She didn't respond. Instead, she quickly turned the corner and disappeared.
Ah, jeez. Girl's gonna get us in trouble.
Junpei did his best to convince himself that would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs. Alright! It was just what he had expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing. Junpei looked around, but Ace was nowhere to be seen. He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down. There he was, and not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well. Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time. Jumpy! Clover! June's face was excited. Something had happened that much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself. We found it!
Found what?
We found it!
What did you find?
It! We found it!
What's it?
The last door! We found door 9!
What? Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way. Okay, let's go.
7 turned and jogged off toward the stairs. The rest followed. We finally made it! The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they've really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said this was door 9, then it probably was. Not door 9. I'm kidding. He could feel his heart racing.
I thought it was just a legend.
A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
Woo!
But there was one thing he couldn't get off his mind. The numbered door could only accommodate between 3 and 5 people. There were 7 of them on their way to door 9. That meant that even in the best case scenario, there would be 2 of them that would have to stay behind. 2 people. He didn't have any solutions to that problem yet, but he was desperately hoping one would present itself. Junpei looked over at the clock. The hands indicated that it was 4:30. They had 90 minutes before their time was... That's actually pretty close to where we're at, 4:30.
Yeah.
So, hey, man! Junpei! Dude, June! What are you up to? What are you 2 doing, man? Hurry it up! Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie. Let's go, Jumpy! June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. They were quiet for a while until...
C-Deck?
They had just reached C-Deck when Clover spoke. Hey! What about door 2?
Everyone else stopped.
Everyone else stopped. They all turned to look at Clover. 7 spoke.
What about door 2?
Door 2 is the only one we haven't got through it. I mean...
Yes, that is true.
Are you guys okay with that? Not investigating it, I mean? So what, man? We found door 9. We don't need to go into any other doors. What's the point? What's the point of going through door 9? We can't go through it, can we? Then we should do what we have to do before we go any further. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. The best way to finish it quickly is to do the border pieces first. You know? Or what? Do you think us 7 of us should just go through door 9 and then we argue over who stays behind and who gets to go? Do we really need to do that again? Who knows? If we check out door 2, maybe we'll find something. Maybe we can find a way to get all of us out. I don't know what might be in there. We might not find anything, but you don't know. Don't you think it would be better to at least have a look? I mean, am I wrong? Does that sound wrong to you guys?
Yeah, you do have a point. Side note, what she's saying makes sense, but I find it hard to trust someone with secret stuff in their pockets.
The others nodded in agreement. The last time
I checked the clock, as the narrator was about to say.
Well, I was going to say the last time Junpei checked. I don't know why, but okay.
It was 4:30. It's not like we've got a lot of time, but if we're quick about it, we might have time to take a look.
You're right. Let's go take a look at door 2.
They were back in front of the elevator. Nearby was a large hospital room. The elevator could take them to door 2. After a few minutes of discussion, they decided that Clover, Santa, June, and 7 would go. And so then all that math.
Alright, let's get going. I'll see you later.
Okay, be careful. Going through.
They climbed to the elevator, and Junpei listened to it creak and rattle its way to the bottom deck. Only Junpei, Ace, and Lotus were left. As the elevator rumbled out of sight, Ace spoke.
Lotus, would you be so kind as to go with me? Go with you?
Oh, she's blushing right now.
I didn't think people still talk that way out of the 1950s. Well, I'm a mother. Would that be a problem for you? That wasn't what I meant to... I was hoping you would come with me. Ha ha ha! Seriously though, I was kidding. So where was it you wanted to take me? Oh, Lotus. There's something I wanted to show you. Hey man, what the stuff? I'm not important enough? Well, it's not like that. Once I've shown Lotus, I'll show you. Really? Of course.
Ace's smile was friendly.
Fine. Do whatever you want. Thank you. Are you coming, Lotus? Fine! It doesn't look like they're going to be back anytime soon. Might as well go see whatever it is you think is so important. Thank you. Well then, shall we go? Yes, we shall.
Ace turned and began to walk. Lotus followed. They disappeared into the hallway on the left. Junpei wasn't sure how long they'd been gone when the elevator suddenly opened.
And...
A single person stood there. Clover. She looked at Junpei, then slowly, purposefully stepped out of the elevator.
oh, she's gonna murder me.
The door closed behind her.
Where's everybody else? What happened?
She didn't answer. Instead, her eyes swept the room and then settled on Junpei.
Where are Ace and Lotus?
Junpei explained what had happened.
Oh. Then they went over there?
Her voice was small and timid.
Yeah, I think so.
He repeated his earlier question.
So where are June and Santa and Seven? Why aren't they with you?
You really want to know?
There was something wrong with her smile.
Yeah?
Okay, sure. Here, let me show you.
Getting some seriously low sanity meter vibes off her.
Clover pulled something out of her pocket and tossed it on the floor at Junpei's feet.
What could it...
He looked down. On the floor in front of him were 3 metal rings. Bracelets.
Oh my god. Oh, holy.
Junpei collapsed.
No, no way. This has got to be some kind of joke. This can't be real.
Junpei's body felt like rubber. His heart felt like a cold lump in his chest, and his hands shook uncontrollably. Sweat poured down his face. The 3 bracelets that sat there on the floor before him. He could see the numbers on their faces. 3, 7, and 6.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1, you escape from the ship. 2, your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or detects that its wearer's heart rate has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
But why?
Junpei's voice was flat and broken. Clover's response was cold.
Revenge for my brother. He was forced into door 3 and murdered. You need at least 3 people to open a door. Who were the 2 that opened the door with him? Could have only been Santa and Seven. That's why I killed them.
Math. But why? Why did you kill June?
Because she tried to protect them. She was in my way. She had to die too.
No, no!
Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to wake himself from what had to be a dream. It couldn't be real. It just couldn't.
I mean, it's okay if you kill the other two, but not June.
Hey, Junpei!
He felt Clover's hand on his shoulder.
Yikes.
Her smile was wrong. Horribly wrong. Her face looked like a mask made from stretched human skin. The smile that parted her lips did not extend to her eyes.
I've seen a lot of disturbing things in this game, but that is freaky.
They were dead and empty. The girl in front of him was no longer the Clover he had known. Perhaps she was not even human.
Let's go.
Her hand reached out toward him.
Let's get out of here. Let's leave this ship.
What are you even talking about? To open a numbered door.
Yes, I know. You need at least 3 people. But as long as we have this.
Once again, Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out. It was another bracelet. Junpei could see the number on the face. 0. 0.
Aha.
And I want to say that's your line there.
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this is...
And I'm guessing the wooden
See?
thing behind her back was the handle of the axe.
You get it now? If we have the 0 bracelet, we can leave. You and I, door 9, with just the 2 of us.
Math.
See? So let's go! Come on! Hurry up!
She shoved out her hand again. Junpei looked up at Clover. She had the face of a demon, but there was something else. There was a holy light that surrounded her.
Yeah.
She was both a fierce god and a benevolent goddess filled with love.
Junpei?
Her voice was soft. Her eyes weren't empty anymore. They were deep, so deep Junpei could feel himself falling into them.
This is so weird.
He felt dizzy. There was something oddly bewitching about her. His mind was beginning to crack and his heart began to melt.
Junpei?
The hand she was offering him, it looked so soft, so inviting. Junpei reached out with his own trembling hand and closed it over hers.
Ah! Yeah! Well,
Junpei writhed in agony. He shuddered and twitched, his body spasming as he went into shock. He screamed until his throat was torn and bloody, then screamed more.
Not gonna act that.
His cries echoed across the room. Eventually, his movements slowed, then faded. There was no more strength left in Junpei. He could feel his body begin to go numb. He no longer felt pain. He no longer felt anything. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. The last remnants of his mind began to fade. Even as his vision faded to nothingness, he saw Clover.
Thanks, Junpei. I'm just gonna borrow this, okay?
Her smile was cold. What was left of Junpei's conscious mind drifted away. All that was left was a twisted, broken corpse.
And I'm dead. That's a bad end, alright.
Yeah.
Yikes. I'm beginning to wonder if, even in the good ending, if there's a way to make it out with everyone alive, or if the good ending is just the only one where Junpei doesn't die.
Well, so we got the axe ending.
Uh-huh. You're making progress.
So,
It's like Thomas Edison said that I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work.
something like that.
However
Yeah.
the quote goes.
But yeah, that's what did you think of that ending?
That was, I mean, none of them have been good so far, but that was possibly the most alarming ending that I've seen yet.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to do the endings in the order that we did. Where we had the knife ending, which was one of those. Wait, what? Well, first it was whoa, what happened to Lotus, and then whoa, I died too, and then you had the next ending, which was a huge step above that of everybody died, but you don't know who did it. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that Clover murdered everybody in that other ending.
Yeah. I mean, clearly this is the ending where Clover goes crazy, and in the other one, she doesn't necessarily.
Well, I remember during the knife ending when when Clover was missing, and you're saying, "Yep, she went out to Deepton, and she's gonna go on a murder spree." This was her murder spree.
Yep. We got to see it.
Yeah.
And mysteries remain, which we will continue to solve, at least those of us who don't know them yet, namely me.
And probably several viewers.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, that was the other reason why Door 1 was my favorite, because that ending, I mean, not only do you have the whole Zero thing of whoa, Zero and who killed Zero, but then you also have the whole Loaded or the whole Clover thing of just
Yeah, like finding Captain Zero. There's a lot that just brings up more questions than it answers, really.
yeah, of who is he,
Yes, is he really Zero? Is Zero one of us?
and also the obvious question of
Who
killed
killed him?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe
Yeah.
on our next playthrough, we'll find some more answers.
Yeah, we actually will, because even though there's 6 endings, one of them's a dummy ending, and so there's really only 2 more real endings to get. And you need to do one of them. You need to do this one ending before getting the true ending. And we'll get a lot of answers in those last 2 endings.
Fantastic.
So, I am Zero, yeah. So, yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next episode, and
We'll come back to life and make a fresh start.
only to die, just maybe.
Yeah. Probably.
Maybe not. I don't know.
You do know.
I,
Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
goodbye.